Oh, we're live. We are live. Shoot. Hold on. All right. Delete. Oh, I hope that worked. All right. Hello out there. We're on the air. Hey. That's a negative. That's the negative winner for today's 88 sats. You owe me 88 sats for that comment. If we are not late, we're right on time. We're right where we're supposed to be. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Bitcoin Journey. It's good to see everybody here. You can see the comment here up on screen. That's going to be the winner of today's 88 sats. We got our good buddy Bodhi Zapping Hood. Great name. New member of the channel. And he just won himself 88 sats. So yesterday I kind of screwed Letha over a little bit. I just zapped her on nostr. Hey, Arnie. Hi, buddy. I zapped her on nostr. I didn't give her a chance to share her lightning address. So, Bodhi, if you would like to, you can share your lightning address and I'll send you a zap here live on the show. But if anybody else wants to zap Bodhi Zapping Hood, they're free to do that as well. So that's what we're going to do. I'll give you a couple seconds here, Bodhi, to throw your thing up there. And if not, we'll put her on. I'll zap you on nostr. Oh, we got a mini wild here coming. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he collected himself. Honestly, if I set up a live stream for Arnie, I think that there'd be more people that watch that than the show. All right. No Agenda Fridays, episode 6. I don't know how many episodes we'll do of this. We had a Q&A that lasted about 25 weeks. So this is number 6. We'll see. The show is always going to evolve. It's never going to be static. We're going to be trying different things. We're going to be moving. We're going to be shaking. And it is Fat Zap Friday on Zapstream today. Arnie's feeling it. Arnie's happy it's Friday. All right, Bodhi says nostr, so let's do nostr right now before I forget. Let's search up Bodhi. See if we can find out. Oh no, we got not a whole lot of battery left on this phone. Not that we really need it, but you never know. Okay, Bodhi. There we go. Let's give him a little zap. A little zapperoo. We almost got 880 sats, Bodhi. All right, here we go. 88 sats. Start the show. Let's see if it works. You have to love that. You have to love our abilities to send money without any permission, any amount. 88 sats. I see RJ in the Zap stream. Morning all. Happy Friday, Zappers. Arnie's getting big. Yeah, well, RJ, we haven't seen you for a while in here. He's growing at a good pace. Where the heck have you been? Cold Deck zapped 1,000 sats. Thank you, my friend. All in good fun. So he actually owed me 88 sats and zapped 1,000. So he's in a surplus. Holy fuck, that's hot. I might have just burned my tongue. Anyways, we got our favorite mug for Friday too. CUNT. See you next Tuesday. All right, we got a Soka over there as well. Hello out there. It's going to be a great show today. I almost said good show, but it's going to be a great show today. It is Friday, which means no agenda, which means I have nothing. I have 3 things written down here, but I'm pretty sure I memorized them anyways. This is just a backup plan. So that's what we're going to do. If you have anything, if you're in Zapstream, if you're in YouTube, if you're, I don't know where else you'd be watching. You need a radio station, like a 88.8 FM. 88.8 FM, Bitcoin Journey. Happy Friday from Arnie and Jor. So if you have any discussions, if you have any questions, if you have anything that you would like to see addressed, the best way to do it to guarantee that I see it would be send a zap with your question on Zapstream or send a super chat. We've been hot with the super chats lately. I don't even know how to send one, so I don't expect you to, but if you want to guarantee your question to be seen and heard, throw some value behind it. If you know what I mean. Oh, where is Arnie's QR code? That's a great question. Sorry about that. Sorry, Arnie. He showed up for the show today and his thing wasn't even live. There we go. All right. Let's see who's here. Let's see what's going on. Timber Crasher, one of our Bitcoin journeymen, is in the house. We saw that Bodhi just joined as a new member this morning. If you would like to join, you just simply go to the channel and you click join. $3 a month Canadian. I don't think you could actually go any lower than that. So if you want to support the show, plus on top of that, you get the full show. 2 or 3 times a week, we do a split show. So we do half of it on YouTube and then half of it on the private side of things. And I do not take off my shirt or pants on that side, but we do talk about some good stuff that can't be discussed on the live show here. See ya, Arnie. So if you'd like to join, that's the best way to do it. Just go to the channel, click join, and get yourself one of these stars. You also get some emojis for the longer you're a member. So I don't know. Roland, good morning. Keep rolling. Morning, afternoon in the UK. Good afternoon, my friend. Brennan, is that a wave? The wave is the wave's happening here pretty fast. Roland says, great week. Moved my pension to MicroStrategy. No Bitcoin ETF available. That's okay. I shouldn't say, I don't give any advice here, but personally, my personal holdings are in MicroStrategy and not in ETFs. And the reason we don't need to get into the reason for that. Not today. First eagle after holding out from 215 yards. Wow. What if you're still in the chat, what course was that at? We can look it up here on the No Agenda Friday. That's awesome though. It's crazy because people make such a big deal of like a hole in one, and most par threes in golf are like 150, 160, 170, probably up to 215 yards. And it's a big deal when somebody gets a hole in one. So it's crazy to me that people don't make more of a big deal when somebody holds out from 215, which is longer than 99% of the par threes. So nice work, man or woman. But that's it. Parker, good morning. Bowser says, great discussion on Wednesday show about the network congestion. Yes, if you haven't watched that yet, go check that out because that was a good discussion on it, I felt. Anyways, I think I clipped it as well. Let me see if I can find it here. So if you weren't here Wednesday, I would suggest checking that out. There was some good info there, I think. What was it? That was Wednesday. Well, I think it's called What Will Bitcoin Look Like in the Future? 12 minutes long. We talked about the Bitcoin network, the congestion, what happens when we run out of block space, and what is the significance of the block space itself. So that video is called What Will Bitcoin Look Like in the Future? If you want to check that out after the show today. Got me thinking that maybe in the future, maybe Bitcoin Core acts as your savings account and Lightning acts as your checking account. Yeah, that's a great point, actually. And if you have used the Aqua wallet before, here, let me show you. I got a couple sats on here, but I won't be doxing my balance or anything like that. I just, whenever I get to like 100, 150, 200,000 on Aqua, that's when I move it off into cold storage. But you can see here on Aqua, they use the same kind of terminology there. Actually, we can hide Tether anyways. Who cares about Tether? But it says savings account, Bitcoin. And then spending account is your layer 2 Lightning Liquid, and you can move eCash into this to be stored as well. So that's a great. The hell was that? The only, I shouldn't say the only bad thing, but one of the negatives about living in the country is the flies in the fall. And if you don't like flies, if you don't like bugs, then I would not suggest moving out to the country. Although at the same time, when I lived in the city, I hated bugs like spiders, flies. If there was a bug in the house, I wasn't falling asleep until that thing was toast. But now you kind of just get used to it. Your whole reality changes when you live outside the city. I would, if you've been somebody considering moving out of the city, I would strongly suggest it. Silver Fox, good afternoon. Duncan, we have Joey. Good morning, Joey. There's too many Joeys here in the chat now. There was no Joeys, and now there's too many Joeys. I don't know which Joey is who anymore. But I'm chatting with a Joey today at some point, so maybe that's him. Bodie over in Zap.stream zapped 1,000 sats. Thank you, Bodie. So Bodie Zapping Hood zapped 1,000 sats, living up to his name. And Ahsoka says I can't zap on Zapstream. How come? That's weird. So I'll zap Arnie's wallet later. Yeah, if you want to give Arnie some sats, that's the best way to do it. You just scan that. He's got a pretty decent balance growing, Arnie. He's got more Bitcoin than most humans. Bodhi says, Bitcoin changes everything, including my name, fairly often. Can't wait till I have my own identity on my sovereign computing cloud. Good morning, visionaries and journeymen. That's a great point. That's something that we all can look forward to, I think, in the future, is truly owning our identity, truly owning our data, and owning our wealth, our energy. So I look forward to that as well. Kev009, good morning from New Jersey. Morning, Kev. Letha? Rajesh? Nostr, please. All right. And we got Rick here as well. Let's see what kind of work Rick has been doing in terms of the likes today. How are we looking? We got 31 people in here, and we got 17 likes. Not bad. Pretty good. We'll take that for now. Sats Venture. Hey, Sats Venture. We got some koalas. Another super chat today. Good interview. Hopefully more to come. We did our interview yesterday with Sats Venture. It's a new YouTube channel that's firing up. And so I was the premier interview on there to launch the channel. Everybody else he reached out to must have said no if he ended up in me. But we did have a really good chat. It was, we had some issues with the Wi-Fi, but I think we're going to be able to figure it out after all. So big shout out to another Joey here, or Josiah, whatever you would like to call him. But some Australian dollars. Thank you. And I think it's like middle of the night there. So he's tuning in, probably half asleep in Australia. Rai says, do you like Stampseed? I've never used it. I don't even know what Stampseed is, so I can't really comment on that. But if you're thinking like in terms of steel or titanium, I think that holy, this fly's going bananas in here. Might have to pull off the hat and whack it. What? I use the seed plate personally from CoinKite, the makers of the cold card. So I think that one's really good. It has 12 words on the front, 12 words on the back. You can buy a center punch for it, it's called. And I haven't had any issues with that. I think it's the best one that I've found. I haven't used anything else, but it's the best one that I've seen, I guess I should say. Retro Beaver, good morning from the People's Republic of Canada. Is it? Man, we got some shady shit happening in Canada right now. Good morning, though, Retro Beaver. German Compounder. Hello, did I miss anything? Not yet. We're just settling in for the Friday. We got no agenda Friday today. So again, if you have any discussions, if you have any questions, today is the day. All right, the coffee's drinkable finally. Django, another Bitcoin journeyman. Good morning. Bodhi says, what's the experience with Bitkey? I hear that's decent, but not usually listed as the top go-to wallet. Is that because it's a beginner wallet? Want something for the kids, extended family? I think if you're looking for something for the kids, for sure, Bitkey's the best. It's a pretty cool looking device, and I can't really speak personally on this because I've never used it myself, but just my understanding of it makes a ton of sense. So it basically acts like a cold storage, like a cold card would, except you have 3 keys, I believe. And somebody corrected me on this, so I might be giving bad info here. But my understanding of it is that there's 3 keys. You keep one of them. There's another company who's involved with Bitkey that holds one, and the other company as well holds one. So it might be 4 total, but that's how it works. So if you were to lose your Bitkey, if you were to lose your private key, like a lot of people have in Bitcoin, then you could still recover the Bitcoin by getting the 2 shards, I think they're called, from, it might be like part of the key stored at different places. I think that's how Ledger does it. So that's what it is. I think that it is a great wallet. It's very affordable. And I think it would be perfect for kids as well, because it kind of looks cool too. It looks like a little rock. So I think I think you can pay with it too. So I would highly recommend Bitkey, and it's Dorsey's product. So you know that it's probably a good one. Okay, here's Sats Venture. Again, Joey says, if you guys want to see the interview with me, subscribe and I'll release it soon. Winky face. So I don't know if you can get to Sats Venture here. Whatever the heck that was. Let's see if we can find Sats Venture here on YouTube right now. I'm pretty sure I tried searching it the other day and nothing came up. So I don't know if you have to put out a video before people can find you, but I couldn't. Holy. What the hell is going on? Yeah, I can't find you on here. So what can we do? What can we do? I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but Arnie's going berserko out there right now. 945 SAS today for shaking my phone. Yeah, ShakePay is, they're probably going to run out of sats one day. Soka says, Zapstream doesn't have a zap button on my Android device. Huh, shitty. Shitty for me, good for you. You get to save the stats. All right, so let's take a break from the comments here. Let's get to the mempool, see what's going on. Let's check on some news that's been happening. We're currently sitting at block height 863.087.078. Man, I must have some sort of dyslexia. 4 sats per VByte if you're moving any Bitcoin on layer 1. And it looks like we're falling behind already. So we just had our difficulty adjustment a couple days ago, and we were 90 blocks behind, and already we're 20 blocks behind. So the hash rate must be taking a bit of a dive here. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I mean, we hit an all-time high hash rate of 746. And yeah, that was the all-time high. And now we're down to 580. I think it's exahash per second. 580. So that's quite the drop. So that's why, holy, what happened there? So that's why the difficulty, that's why the blocks are coming in, taking longer to come in, because there's less people mining right now. There's less competition. So that's the state of the network. I don't know what would be causing that. I mean, I know what's causing it. The hash price right now is at an all-time low. So that's kind of the tough spot that miners are in right now, because the hash rate, which is the total energy going into the Bitcoin network, the amount of people plugging in their miners, was basically at an all-time high a couple weeks ago. And the hash price, which considers that and the price of Bitcoin, how much requires, the hash price was, I think, at an all-time low. So that was the disconnect there. I think that's why there's probably a bunch of miners powering down right now, which is why we're seeing the difficulty adjustment go down. Country always better than the city. Yeah, cities, I don't know. There's just some really bad things happening in the city. Every city. If you're a fan of like how Canada and the US was like 20, 30 years ago, then you don't want to be living in the city right now. Ryan, good morning. And we got Rob here. Good morning, George. Long-time lurker. Just curious about your thoughts on Simon Dixon and if you watched his Bitcoin Hard Talk show. I've never heard of Simon Dixon before. Sounds like a good dude, though. And his show is called Bitcoin Hard Talk Show. I mean, anybody out there, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be me. It could be Joey. It could be Simon Dixon. Anybody who's talking about Bitcoin only, anybody who's helping people learn Bitcoin, not like the basics and the fundamentals of it, but like once you get to that point, what do you do with your Bitcoin? How to earn Bitcoin? How to store your Bitcoin? Different things that most people might not think of. Anybody who's talking about that is good in my books. So until proven otherwise, I usually give people the benefit of the doubt. Joey says, we did the interview this morning and it's now 11:30 at night. I'm a cooked beaky. So we did the interview, which would have been 5 p.m. our time, my time yesterday. So Thursday. And I think it was 8 o'clock Friday for him. So it's tough to coordinate with the Aussies. We're in pretty much different planets. Bren says stamp seed is sick. Sick. That's good. There you go. Whoever asked that before, we have somebody you can verify the stamp seed. I was going to try the Bitcoin well, but I'm pretty sure we're out of tosses. I forgot to email them. Whoops. I'll just double check here. I doubt that they topped me up, but we'll just double check. Oh, we got 2 tosses. I wonder what happened there. I must have earned some. Yeah, I did. Well, you know what? We're going to give them away. We're going to give them away. You guys deserve it. Guys and girls deserve it. So you can see here, we ran out of points yesterday, but we got a referral bonus of 1,000 points yesterday. So we're going to give it back to the community here. But I'm going to have my phone active. So be aware of that. If it's more than 500 sats, I'm going to be gunning for it. So we're going to redeem it here. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a head start. I don't have my phone open right now, but we're going to toss it in here. If it's more than 500 sats, I'm going to be gunning for it. So here we go. $500 sats. Up for grabs from somebody. Somebody's going to win. Parker says, is there a toss in the well on Fridays? Well, we shouldn't have had one today, but we did. So there's 500 sats up for grabs. Let's see if somebody's claimed it. I'm guessing there has been claimed. Oh, I wanted to go for that one. I was raring. That's been claimed. Congrats to the winner of the 500 sats today. Nice work. Fast hands. Okay. Let's keep her moving. Brian says, buckle up, boys. I'm guessing he's talking about the price of Bitcoin. What do we got here? We hit 66 yet? No. 66 is a bad number anyways. We don't really need that. We need to go from 65 to 67. Hey, Sachi. Okay, let's get this off the screen. What the hell am I doing here? Sachi, good to see you, man. I don't know if you've been watching the shows or if you've just been quiet in the shows, but It's good to see you. FBI agent. Okay, so Roland says, still here, 8 minutes behind, just had to take a work call. No problem. I'm usually 8 minutes behind in the comments anyway, so. The course was Lid in Kent, UK. See if we can find it. Lid. I don't see it. It sounds like I might be lying here. It's not on Google. This might have been in your dream, Roland. We'll put golf, I guess. Should have put that in the first spot. Lid Golf Club. All right. Sorry about that. He's not a liar. Let's check things out here. This is the Lid Golf Club, home of Roland's Eagle on hole 12. They got flyovers on this baby? Yep. Let's see the hole that Roland got his Eagle on. This is one of my favorite things to do, is just look at golf courses and watch their flyovers. Oh, this is animated. Oh, this looks like quite the hole. You can see Roland's ball flying through the air there, right into the cup. First Eagle ever. So what is that a par 5 or a very long par 4? Did it say? Let's check it out here. Sorry for the non-golfers, but there's no agenda today, so we just kind of free ball it. So 12 is oh, that's quite the par 4. That's a hell of an eagle. Even from the middle tees. 431 yards, par 4. There was water there. And that's not even the hardest hole in the course. Wow, that looks like a tough little challenge, Lid Golf Club. One thing I'm thinking about doing here, I don't know if there are any golf fans in the house or not, but one thing I think I'm going to be doing is I'm hoping to, this is me hoping here, I'm hoping to join up with Bitcoin Well a little bit more. And I really want to focus on the golf side of things. And the golfers, I know that there's a ton of Bitcoiners who golf, and I think it's a very opportunistic market. So what I want to start doing on the show here is I want to take a page out of the Daily Stoic book here. And I kind of want to call it the Daily Scratch. So every day on the show, I'm thinking about doing like a quote or a golf tip. Just exactly how they do it in there. They give the tip and then they do like an explanation of it, or like a deeper dive into it. This is probably more relevant because it's like from philosophers to normal English, but I think that it'd be good. It would only take a couple minutes to be part of the show, and then I would just clip it after and make it sponsored by Bitcoin Well. That's my plan. So, I mean, even if you're not a golfer, you can either just, go on nostr for a couple minutes and come back. But either way, that's my plan. Joey says, new channel will take a bit to catch traction. I'll make a banner profile pic. Yeah, so as soon as that video is launched on Sats Venture, I'll definitely share it on the channel here. I'll share it on Nostr, and hopefully a lot of the subscribers and people from the community here will go and support Joey and his new venture. He's a great guy, 20 years old, Australia. They got their I think it's the biggest day of the year there tomorrow for them. Their AFL, I forget what he called it though, but they actually take a holiday. That's how big it's like he explained it as like a soccer, football, rugby mixture into one, which they call Australian football. So the AFL league, they have their big championship tomorrow. So everybody in Australia gets the day off today for it. That's pretty crazy. We don't have anything like that in North America. People usually just take the day off themselves, but we don't have an official like holiday for it. Fancy says, I remember getting 10,000 sats per day from ShakePay. Yeah, the rewards have definitely gone down significantly from ShakePay. They've capped it at 1,000 sats a day now, but that's just a reflection of where we are. And I think in 10 years from now, it'll probably be like 5 sats or 1 sat per day, or 100 microsats. That's just going to be the natural evolution of Bitcoin here. And these incentive programs like ShakePay, like Fountain, we've already seen them decrease their rewards over the last 4 years. And I think over the next couple cycles, they'll become even less. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking into the earnings of Bitcoin. Just get it while it's there. And an example of that, my eyes are really sore this morning. I don't know why. They don't usually get sore. But an example of that is it's so easy to do. There's an application called ZBD. And it's very similar to ShakePay, where you can actually just take a poll, a daily poll, and you get paid for it. Like I got 50 sats today for taking this poll, and you can do that every day and you get a streak. And I think it's similar to ShakePay. The longer your streak is, the more sats you get every day. So you do the daily poll. You can take surveys from BitLabs here. You can select your however long you want to spend on it. Like, this is really cool. I think I talked about this a little while ago, but like you can see here, these are all the surveys that are available. So you got like a lifestyle one. It says how long it'll take. It says what the payout is. So this one, for example, is 2,900 sats you get. Takes you 15 minutes approximately. But the only thing there is that you have to be the kind of person that they're looking for. So that they ask a bunch of questions. You have to give away a bunch of your personal data. But I don't think you have to put in your name or phone number or email or anything like that. So you can do surveys, or you can just it's a quick earn, it's called. So you can just watch an ad and earn 6 sats. Like I'm gonna watch this guy, or not watch, but have him on my phone for 30 seconds here and earn 6 sats. So even though 6 sats seems like a waste of time, think a decade out. Think what those 6 sats are going to be worth. And if you can get those while you still can today, you're going to be, like my grandma used to say, take care of the cents and the dollars will look after themselves. Just pay attention. Everything you can get along the way. It doesn't matter if it's 2 sats, 6 sats, 200 sats. Just get as much as you can while you can. And you're going to be in a pretty good spot years from now. Rice says, can you get ShakePay in the US? No, it is Canadian only, I believe. DJR, good morning. Good to see you. Jack Krause, Bitcoin only challenges many people's beliefs and conditioning, but he knows his shit. Countless hours of podcasts to listen to him as a guest. I've heard that. Somebody was talking about that yesterday on the show, Jack Krause. I've never watched him before, but it sounds like the community here has verified him as a person to listen to. Kev says, recommend Bitcoin as an individual who lives in a residential home. If so, any recommendations for starting out? Recommend Bitcoin as an individual who lives in a residential home. I'm not sure what that means. What's a residential home? I don't know. Kev, you might have to expand on that so I can give better info. Oh, Bitcoin mining in a residential home. That makes more sense. I still don't know what a residential home is, though. Just like a residence? Sorry, I'm probably looking too far into this question here. Just like a normal house. Kev, honestly, I don't think that we're there yet. The one thing I would not be doing right now is like buying a miner and just plugging it in, because you're just going to lose a bunch of money. It's going to make a lot of noise. Your wife, your spouse is going to be pretty pissed off at you for that. And you're not going to make a whole lot of money. So the 2 recommendations that I would say would, number 1, this BitX is unplugged right now. Huh, good for display purposes. I think I had to unplug it for the interview yesterday. But BitX, I would get yourself one of these, and don't count on making anything off of these. They're like $200. You're probably going to lose about $4 to $5 every month in energy costs, depending on where you live. But it's just kind of the experience of it. You're helping the network. You're decentralizing the network. and you're learning about Bitcoin mining. So when the day comes where it does make more sense to mine, you kind of already have the basic knowledge of hooking it up, connecting it to a network, and watching the progress of it. I'm going to plug this in. Hopefully I didn't miss a block reward from having that unplugged overnight. We'll never know. But the second point I would say there is that there will be, depending on where you live, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are setting up Bitcoin miners as a way to heat their house, as a way to offset their energy costs. And the reason I say that is because it just makes so much sense. Right now, if you're paying your electricity bills in the winter here, you're paying to run your furnace. The furnace heats your house. You get no kickback. There's nothing to offset the cost there. Whereas if you rig it up and you hook a Bitcoin miner in there instead of the furnace, and it sends heat through the house, you're paying your electricity cost, but you're also getting a kickback in Bitcoin. So I think that that's probably the two things that I would look at today would be like a small BitAxe, or I think there's like a Canon Avalon, or actually heating your house with it. I think that that's the only two things that make sense through my eyes. 33 Electric, welcome. I wonder if that's an electrical company there, because I'm sure they'll be outfitting some houses for Bitcoin mining in the near future. What's on the agenda today? That's a good question. That's up to the audience, the listeners. It's no agenda Friday today. I got to make sure I claim these sats here before I forget. 6 sats for that. Watching that guy talk on mute. So, but on the agenda today, I do have 3 things that I want to talk about. I have a bit of news to share, and then I have 3 things, kind of like observations that I've been noticing in the last little while. So I'm going to save those for a little bit later on. I don't know how long the show is going to be today. But again, if you do have any questions, if you have any comments, anything you want to discuss, toss her in the chats. Toss her in the chat. So let's look at some news here. Take a little break from the bullshit. Take a little bullshit break, if you know what I mean. Hey, I just saw my email here. I see that Parker, our guy right here. Kids are quick these days. I see Parker just signed up as a Living in the Future member. All right. Welcome, Parker. That is, Try and do too much at once here. Did that send? Yeah, okay. All right, let's take a look here. A couple things. There was this one. I think that this one's definitely worth talking about because I really don't know. It's tough for me. There's different people in the chat here every day, and I don't know where everybody's at in their own personal Bitcoin journey, but I think that this is a pretty standard recommendation for everybody. And this is something that I don't want you to wait. I don't want you to say, I'm going to do it next week. I want you to do this today. So it says, just in, Coinbase is down as Bitcoin pumps, from Bitcoin News. And I don't know if they're up now. This was from yesterday. Coinbase went down 350,000 views. I think that Coinbase is going to be in a lot of trouble in the future. I really do. Things are not trending in their direction right now. They got a lot of bad press. They have issues with their BlackRock Bitcoin that they have. They got called out by Larry Fink last week saying that they need to do a better job of verifying that they actually have the Bitcoin. And I think that this was a good example of that. I think that they went down because they don't have the Bitcoin. And I think they went down because they can't afford to sell any more Bitcoin because they don't have the Bitcoin. Pure speculation, just my opinion. No provable evidence there, but I don't think the Coinbase has the Bitcoin. And that there's 2 implications of this. Number one, if you are somebody out there, just an average retail Bitcoin holder, just delete Coinbase, delete your account, get whatever Bitcoin you have off of Coinbase, put into cold storage, delete your account, and never think about them again. They are not a good company at all. So that's just one example though. And I think that as we go into this bull run, we haven't seen anything for 4 years right now. And so if you're somebody who hasn't been here since the last bull run, when things run, they go fast. And if you're somebody planning on buying or selling any Bitcoin, you want to have the ability to do that when the time is right. And when you have an exchange like Coinbase or Binance or Kraken or Gemini, these bigger exchanges, every time the price runs up or down, they go down for maintenance, exactly like this. It happens every time. And this thing hasn't even started yet. This is like a 5% gain. So I guarantee that when we actually start running, all of these exchanges are going to go down for maintenance because they can't afford to sell their Bitcoin. Because, my opinion, they don't have the Bitcoin. So my suggestion there would be to, regardless of what exchange you use as your main one, hopefully it's not Coinbase, but whatever exchange you're using to buy and sell Bitcoin, make sure you have 3 of them. If you have one exchange, that's a single point of failure for you. And if you want to buy, let's say that Kamala Harris ends up, I'm going to use air quotes again, winning the election, because I know that she would never, ever, ever win that election fairly and honestly. But if, let's say she ends up winning and the price crashes down to $10,000, flash crash. And you're like, holy shit, I've been waiting forever for this to happen. I have some dry powder here that I've been saving for something like this. I'm going to buy it. And all of a sudden you go into the exchange that you usually use. And because everybody else is trying to buy Bitcoin at that time, they go down for maintenance. So in that situation, and it could be the opposite way. Let's say that you've been holding onto some Bitcoin specifically labeled for a new set of golf clubs, whatever that is. And all of a sudden the price shot up to 300,000. I like that scenario better. But so it shoots up and you want to sell some Bitcoin and all of a sudden their exchanges are down. You can't sell your Bitcoin and you miss out on that opportunity there. So if you only have one exchange that you're going with, that's a problem. That's your single point of failure there. So I would suggest using a minimum of 3 exchanges. You don't have to buy and sell from them, fairly and equally, but just have an account set up there. Because when that happens, you're not going to be able to just go set up an account at Bitcoin Well and be approved and verified by the time, because it happens very fast. Trust me. I tried doing it at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. one time on a Friday night. The Bitcoin price crashed in half. And I went to Binance to try to buy some, down. There's not a more sickening feeling that you can have than that. You see the price, you see how much you're going to get, and then all of a sudden you log into your exchange and it's down. I would not wish that feeling, especially if you're like a Bitcoiner and you have a very long-term vision of this thing and you understand how rare that is to be able to get Bitcoin at that price. It's a very sickening feeling. So if you're in Canada, if you're in the US, I would suggest using, these are the kind of exchanges that I have heard good things about. I haven't used all of them since I'm in Canada, but Bitcoin Well, for sure. If you're in Canada or the US, make sure you get yourself a Bitcoin Well account. bitcoinwell.com/Jor. They're a sponsor of the show. They give away free sats on the show every day. I think the least we could do is just set up an account there and, show some back. Bull Bitcoin is another one here. I think it's Canada only though. They're a great exchange. ShakePay is okay. They're definitely more on team government, I think, than team Bitcoin. River in the US, I've heard a lot of good things about. They also show proof of reserves, which is a big one. So I think that River is probably the best exchange in the US, aside from Bitcoin Well. But that's what I would say on that. And one thing on that too, just in case there's anybody who hasn't been here for a while watching the show today, you can go to bitcoin.org. I'm going to bring it up on the screen here. You can go to bitcoin.org and you can go to resources and you can go to exchanges and you can see all the different options here that you have. So there's peer-to-peer. You got BISC, BitQuick, HODL. No one's buy Bitcoin. I don't know what the hell that is. But then you can click on your country too. So North America, Canada, and it shows which ones are Bitcoin only as well, which is pretty badass. So you see Bitcoin well here is, oh, what happened? Bitcoin well is Bitcoin only. Bull Bitcoin is Bitcoin only. ShakePay should be Bitcoin only, but they're still for some reason selling Ethereum on there, which I absolutely despise. And the rest of these are all have casino coins in them. So you can go to whatever country you're in. Look at US as well. These are the ones in the US. Bitcoin well. There we go. I did a pretty good job of advertising there for these. So Bitcoin well is Bitcoin only. And River Financial is also Bitcoin only. And Swan Bitcoin is Bitcoin only. Some more air quotes there. Swan is losing touch with Bitcoiners, it feels like right now. So there you go. Go to bitcoinwell.com if you're in Canada or the US, bitcoinwell.com/Jor, and get yourself an account there. You get some free sats too for signing up. 5 free tosses into the well. So, heck yeah. Did I even say any news there? Yeah, Coinbase. All right. Coinbase goes down again. That's what my title was for this one. Bitcoin Federal Association. We could watch this video. It's not really anything, too crazy. It's more so the headline here that we're focused on. So this is another one from Bitcoin News here. It says new. Germany's Bitcoin Federal Association holds its inaugural meeting in the Bundestag, featuring 45 companies aiming to promote Bitcoin industry interests in dialogue with the government. Well, that's kind of hard on the eyes. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing to see. So that's the German Bitcoin Federal Association. 45 companies got together for their first ever meeting there. And I know Germany hasn't made the best decisions with their Bitcoin, but there's always some Germans watching the show. And I love Germany. I love Germans too. I don't know. I think Germany's got a very bad rep through the years. Truly, that's the kind of power that the media and Hollywood have, is whatever they want to paint with a negative brush or like a dark brush, they have the ability to. And if you've never actually traveled to any of these countries, your only perspective of them is what you've seen on the news and in movies. So to me, like, Germany seems like a very dark, cold, like grumpy country. But I think if you go there, like, they have some of the most beautiful scenery on earth. And one of my best friends, actually, this is a crazy story, and I don't really want to talk about it too much because it's Friday and we need to keep the vibes high. But one of my very good friends was actually hiking in Germany. He went all the way to Germany to do some hiking, and he ended up we shouldn't be talking about it right now. That's a bad road to go down. He didn't make it home. Let's just say that. He didn't make it home. But anyways, he went there because of the hiking there and the mountains and the landscape that they have there. And I think that from North America here, we've been pretty brainwashed to think that Germany is like this bad, scary, cold place. DJR says, any recommendations on how to secure one's seed phrase? Seed plate and paper can be vulnerable if someone finds it. Can one apply a cipher that only they know that how to obfuscate the original words? There's lots of options for that. Lots of options for that. I fear sounding like a broken record on the show too much, but there are definitely things that you can do. And one of the things that I love, and this is kind of what I would suggest for like a beginner, I would say, obviously get your seed plate. Like, you want to have your 12 words on steel. I think that's a very good place to start, because you, just like we were talking about with the exchange there, you want to eliminate your single point of failure. And if you had your seed phrase in hopefully not on your phone, but let's say that it like the cold card, the passport, it comes with a little piece of paper with, a little template where you can write down your words. If something were to happen to your house, let's say it caught on fire tomorrow, it's gone. Your Bitcoin's gone. There's no fallback plan there for you. It's gone. Nothing you can do about it. So you should be taking actionable steps to, number one, get it on steel, because even in a fire, the steel, titanium, I think titanium holds up better in heat. But even steel, I think you're okay with steel. I would definitely run through the fire and grab a hot piece of steel to save my Bitcoin. But from there, like, that's the first step. And then you could do something along the lines of find your favorite book in your house and write down, like, every 50th page, write down the word of, like, the first word. So let's say the first word is elephant. Then you go to page 100 and you write down another word. And let's say it's radio. And then go to page 150, write down the next word. Like, there are things that you can do like that. Whereas if somebody were to break into your house, you don't just have your 12 words sitting like on your kitchen table. Like, you want to eliminate any chance of somebody seeing that, because if anybody else finds your 12 words, they now own your Bitcoin. That's the best way to look at it. And that could be your brother, that could be your spouse, that could be somebody who breaks into your house. If anybody else sees those 12 words and has access to that, they own your Bitcoin. So number one, steal. Number two, do something like that in case, just in case. Put it in the book. Know what book it is. Know how many pages you set it apart. And then the third one, from there, you go into memorizing it. Memorize your 12 words. And I think you never want to do that as your standalone option for your private key, because you get hit by a bus, or I don't know, you have a stroke and you lose all your memory. That's not a place that you want to be. So make sure that you can go to the lengths of, like, memorizing it, and that's fine, but don't ever have that as your single point of failure, because that's a really good way to ensure that all of your life's work and energy is going to be gone. Rai says, basically my shopping list is stamp seed, passport, BitX. What else? That's a good question. What else do you need? Don't go into Bitcoin as like, I need all these different products and devices to, like, keep up with other Bitcoiners, going to conferences, buying, miners, buying Start9 servers. But if you're somebody who's new to Bitcoin, just make sure you take things kind of slow. And for your own purposes of, like, screwing something up, for overwhelming yourself, but also just because at that point, it's much better to be buying Bitcoin. Honestly, like, for your first couple of years in Bitcoin, I wouldn't get too concerned with buying all these different things like fucking block clocks and stuff like that. Just buy Bitcoin. Instead of taking that money and buying devices and all these different products, buy Bitcoin. You're going to be much better off buying Bitcoin and putting it on in your Aqua wallet. Truly, I really mean that. As much as I love supporting the BitX and the passport and all that kind of stuff, I really mean it when I say, if you're somebody who's, like, deciding between, or unless you have an abundance of capital, you should just be buying Bitcoin. That's your number one priority if you're new to Bitcoin. And put it, you can download the Aqua wallet for free. Put it on there, get in the habit, get in the right process of writing down your words, keep things very simple. I think the worst mistake that Bitcoiners can make is, like, learning about Bitcoin, getting super fired up about it, buying all these different products, setting up all these wallets, setting up this super complex security process. And then they just waste money on all that. Plus, they overcomplicated before they were actually up to speed with their knowledge, and they lose it all. So that would be, like, kind of my best advice there, is just, like, take it slow. Buy Bitcoin instead of products. And then after a year or two, let's say you get a couple million sats, 10 million sats, 20 million sats, then you can start looking to buying, like, a passport and a BitX and a Start9 server. But for everybody who's, like, kind of new getting into Bitcoin, just buy Bitcoin. Because especially where we are right now, because in 2 or 3 months from now, you're going to give anything to be back here and to be able to trade that amount of fiat for sats. I don't think we're ever going to see another day where the price is $60,000 after these next couple months. So that's what I'd focus on. Hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Hey, Pasty Janner's in the house today. Pasty had to explain what a pasty was to me. Said it's like a pie with meat and stuff in it. A pasty. I thought he was talking about like the pasties when you indulge in some marijuana and you get the pasties. But here in Canada, we also have pastries, which are like the pie stuff, but instead of like meat, we have fruit, which kind of makes sense if you look at our population and how fat everybody is here. Bunch of fatties. And that's, nothing against fatties, but I'm definitely on the side of RFK in terms of we need to make, he says America, but North America and the world healthy again. That should be our number one priority. Fix the money, fix the food. And then that's all that really matters. Everything else has a trickle-down effect from that. Charlie says, the days of making money mining are pretty much over for the individual person. I agree. And I'm worried about the EMF from high-powered miners and the health effects. Also agree with that. Like we watched a video a couple weeks ago on the show about Bitcoin mining. There was a big operation in the US and like nearby citizens were complaining that it was really messing up they're getting dizzy. They couldn't sleep. And it makes sense. Even just having a bidax in this office, I think I'm going to move it out of this office just because of the frequency there. I just don't love it. I'm not going to like throw it out or anything or sell it, but I don't know if I need to have it right beside me here. So that's why I think that like the decentralization of miners, I don't think that there's going to be like 5 miners like there is now or 10 even. I think everybody's going to have their own Bitcoin miner in their house for different purposes, obviously, but it's going to be much more decentralized and hopefully if things go as planned. Hey, Austin, good morning, brother. Good morning. What else we got here? Austin says, I used Coinbase for years, but now I use Hodl Hodl and Peach app for no KYC. That's a great call. You should be trying to find it. And I think Bitcoin Well with the ATMs you can use for non-KYC sats as well. Hey, I see Duncan's up 420 sats. Sorry about that. I just hit refresh and I saw it. Thank you, Duncan. I appreciate that. Austin used Mt. Gox as well. Yeah, that's. I think Mt. Gox is going to be or Coinbase is going to be the next Mt. Gox. Brian says, invest in a Blockstream Jade or a cold card ASAP. Take any and all Bitcoin off the exchanges. ASAP. Yeah, and kind of what I was going back to there a couple of minutes ago. I mean, you don't need to have a Blockstream Jade or a cold card or a passport to move your Bitcoin off the exchange. I don't think we need to be promoting that narrative. You can easily take your Bitcoin off of the exchanges and move it into I think Aqua Wallet is the best. I really do. Because with that, you can easily swap it for a very low fee into Lightning if you want to fund your, okay, so let's just take a sample, what do you call it? Flow here. So let's say you got $1,000. You want to buy some Bitcoin. You go into Bitcoin Well, and instead of like thinking that you need a Blockstream Jade or a passport or a cold card, just download the Aqua Wallet, and you can move it there from Bitcoin Well. Use Liquid, move it there. Use Liquid, and then if you want to convert it into Bitcoin in like a year or whenever you get your Blockstream Jade or cold card, you can move it. Very easily swap it from Liquid onto Bitcoin, layer 2 to layer 1, and then you can send it to your cold storage. Or if you have it in Liquid, you can easily swap it into Lightning. It's basically the same thing on that app. And so with that, you can fund your Fountain account, you can fund your Nostr, you can zap people, you can buy a shirt, you can buy honey, you can buy a bunch of different things with Lightning online. So I think that's what you should be focused on, is like learning that. Send it to your Aqua Wallet. And then from there, you can decide what to do with it. You can manage your UTXOs that way. I think that's the best route. And it is something that I've newly discovered here, but I'm a big fan of the Aqua Wallet. And I think that for people who are just new to Bitcoin, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't think that you need to get a cold card before you can move it off the exchanges. Like just download the Aqua wallet and move it there. Rai says Fold has done a phenomenal job adding the option to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, they should be able to do that. Every app should have a option to buy Bitcoin in it. Bodhi says River and Strike have been great for me. I learned all this from you, Jor. Well, me and others. Like I've never used River or Strike. I forgot to mention Strike. Strike is also a Bitcoin only company. I'm not sure why they're not on Bitcoin org there. But that's that has really nothing to do with me. I'm just the guy sitting here on screen, the only guy dumb enough to be sitting here on screen. But it's the community, the people here who are the most helpful. All right, top up our Zap stream here to keep rent paid. There we go. Pubkey. Great name. Hello from Germany. We were just talking about Germany. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind here, as you can tell. Oh, Bodhi says, I remember some German girls in my 20s. Those were the days. I'm not going to make a comment on that. I thought about it, and I'm going to go ahead and not make a comment on that. What was I doing? Oh, I saw the price here. Got a little notification from CoinGecko. 66K. I really don't know why we're celebrating that, because that just means we get less sats for our dollars, for our completely illusionary, able to be printed by the worst people in the world dollars. Now get less sats for that. Jay says Germany tried to take over the world. One of my favorite. I want everybody to do this on the weekend. I want you to go watch a guy named Norm Macdonald. He was a Canadian. He passed away a couple of years ago. One of the best comedians. Norm Macdonald. So good. And he did a special on Netflix. I think it was called like Hitler's Dog. And he was talking about Germany and how they, in World War I, they tried to take over the world, failed. And then World War II, they went after the world again. Oh my God, it's such a good stand-up. So if you have access to Netflix, I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, and it's called Norm Macdonald, Hitler's Dog. Watch that this weekend. It's hilarious. Maybe we'll watch that next week on the private show here. Germany, yeah, that's such a good. That's one of my favorite stand-up comedy skits, I guess, or whatever you call it. Norm Macdonald, Hitler's Dog. And if you really want to dive into Norm Macdonald, you can look at some of his old skits on SNL. He used to be on there. He is so funny. So funny. German compounder. Germany is beautiful. Just politics are moving in the wrong direction, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, that's the case for the majority of the world, truly. There's not too many ugly places on this planet. We just have the worst people running these countries and running these countries into the ground. And whatever decision they could make that would be the worst for their country, that's what they've been doing. And you know what? It's changing, though. It's changing. People like you, people like me are changing it. Whether you want to believe it or not, we are. 90s family, great comment here. I'm not going to agree or disagree. But the comment is, don't even tell your girlfriend you have Bitcoin. Well, I don't agree with that. I think that your girlfriend, your spouse, your boyfriend, your husband, they have to be on board with it, because you don't want to be keeping secrets. I think that that's a very bad thing within her. I'm not going to give any relationship advice here, but my advice would be just to take it very slow and try to let them see the benefits of Bitcoin. Obviously, they're not going to be listening to 10 hours of Bitcoin podcasts every day with you, but like any chance you get, try to show the difference between fiat and Bitcoin to them, and they'll appreciate it. From experience, like, I don't think you have to tell them exactly how much Bitcoin you have, but you should be kind of working towards things. And me and Bridge have a a little wallet ourselves that we contribute every week into for like a long-term savings fund. It's like our retirement fund. So I think that they do have to be on board with it. I agree with you. I don't think that they have to know exactly how much you have, but everyone's different. That's going to be an interesting thing that happens through the years here, is like, as Bitcoin adoption grows and, you know, people start getting divorced and breaking up and Bitcoiners are single again, it's going to be interesting to see how the courts deal with Bitcoin in that. Because you can clearly see, you know, if you divorce somebody, they can see your bank accounts, they can see your investment statements, they can see all that. It's within their reach, within their ability. But how do they know how much Bitcoin you have? That's something that nobody really talks about in the Bitcoin world, is like, is that like a secret? And you should never go into a relationship with the purpose of like trying to hide things from them, or like, how can I escape best without them getting any assets? But like, worst case, you do get divorced, you do break up with them. I do think Bitcoin is like a very sneaky, underrated way to protect your wealth. And hopefully there's no courts in the world who are watching this show as the hell is this? We need Bitcoin to stop the spam calls. So I don't know. Hopefully there's no courts using the 88 Sats radio channel as like a, what do you call it when they present evidence? This guy said that I should be using Bitcoin to hide my wealth from you. Austin says, oops, just realized I didn't click the like button. That's okay. Zaps are better than likes anyways. But Cold Deck said, Norm is a shit. 100%. You need to look into Norm Macdonald. One of the funniest humans to walk the earth. Actually, Canada's had some of the best comedians out there. John Candy, Norm Macdonald. There's another one too, I forget though. Brennan says, block clock is the biggest waste of cash. I mean, that's the thing. It's the same as conferences. It's the same as fancy products within Bitcoin. Like, I don't know, like Bitcoin wine, Bitcoin paintings, Bitcoin art. Like, those are the kind of stuff that you buy after being in Bitcoin for like 3 cycles. And I don't want you to ever get discouraged in terms of like, you see other Bitcoiners going to conferences, buying this fancy art with block clocks in the background. Just stay humble and understand where you are compared to them. Think about how much longer they've been in Bitcoin, how much proof of work they put into Bitcoin more than you. And the only thing missing there is time. So don't rush it either, because in 2 cycles from now, your parents are going to be 8 years older. You're going to be 8 years older. Your dog's going to be 8 years older or gone. So don't rush it. Just be patient and appreciate what you have. Save the excess and put it into Bitcoin, and don't waste it on dumb shit. The Tibetans don't seem to be worried about their. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm thinking you're talking about the Kingdom of Bhutan. So I would be very interested to see like how far that is away from where most people live there, because it's just a bunch of monks. It's like a country known for like their happiness and like stillness. And I agree, like it's kind of weird that they have these Bitcoin miners with all these frequencies there. It seems weird, but awesome at the same time. They probably have it. I mean, you can put it in immersive, I think it's called, like underwater, so you don't hear or anything like that, hear or feel it, because it's all immersed underwater. Is it immersed or submerged? I don't know. Hey, Ty, I'm a big golfer. Count me in. All right. Well, I think I'm going to start doing that. This is going back to the daily scratch. I think I'm going to start doing that. Like we don't have enough stuff going on the show already. Ty, are you watching the President's Cup today? Our Canadians and our Australians got smoked yesterday, 5-0. Although all the matches were very tight. So we can't be We can't be too sad about it. It's only day one. Wyatt Entertainment says, if only there was an efficient, powerful miner for the average family that is affordable and can generate a good amount of Bitcoin. But I guess hash rate keeps going up. Yeah. Difficulty goes up. There's hash rate goes up. The difficulty goes up. The more hash you need. But you know what? Between like the need for Bitcoin mining, between the technological advancements that we're going to see in terms of like efficiency stuff with miners, I think that we're going to get there one day. We're just not quite there yet. Yeah. Yeah, Alan, this is a good comment here. I think it's funny that the Mt. Gox was a Magic the Gathering trading card exchange before it got into Bitcoin. Yeah, that's what Mt. Gox stands for. Magic the Gathering online exchange. Mt. Gox. Bunch of nerds, bunch of criminal nerds. Oh yeah, did we have any more stuff to discuss here? All right, I'm going to save that for next week. So let's all right, we're an hour and 11 here. Let's I'm going to talk about something here. I got three observations from my life lately. And they're kind of related to Bitcoin. They're kind of not. But I just want to share them today. I wanted to talk about it. I was going to make a big post about it, but I feel like it's easier to talk about on the show here, and more people might get value from it. So let me bring this up. Let's start with this one, because this is something I've been thinking a lot about lately. So this is a tweet from Oliver L. Velez, 13%er Bitcoiner. I don't know what that means, 13%er. Anyways, the tweet here says, I used to drink 2 bottles of wine a day. I thought I was bad. I have a beer a couple nights a week, and I thought I was bad. Used to drink 2 bottles of wine every day, lunch and dinner. Today, I limit myself to 2 5-ounce glasses per week. Why? Bitcoin. Not to save on funds, but just to last longer health-wise. Bitcoin makes you want to take care of yourself. What's more, I appreciate those 2 glasses per week more than the bottles per day I used to consume. Bitcoin changed you in more ways than one. Is that like a European thing where you drink like bottles of wine at lunch? I mean, it looks like he's sitting pretty good in life. But that seems pretty crazy to me. Even like 1 per day at dinner time seems a little bit crazy to me. But I definitely know people who do that, so I can't judge. So that's the first observation. Here's actually number 3 on my list here, but the first one is that I really think that Bitcoin is going to change the way we think about our spending and the things we need. And I mean, we've kind of been talking about this throughout the show today, but I've been thinking about it myself. And if you think about the habits we're used to and how people are today, whether it is wine, liquor, beer, whiskey, drugs like weed, coffee. So, I mean, I can't ever shit on coffee, but like cigarettes, tobacco, chewing tobacco. Think about all the people and how much money they spend on those things every day. And what I've kind of been thinking about is I really think that Bitcoin is going to change. Oliver talked about the wanting to last longer. And I think that ties into it here. But at the same time, I really believe that if everybody was using Bitcoin, like this day is going to come. But if we were there today, I think that people would drastically change their spending habits. If you had to go to the gas station and spend like 10,000 sats on a pack of cigarettes versus like $20 of this fiat illusionary monopoly money, I think that people would think a lot differently with that. It just seems like the current society that we have with the fiat dollar and kind of what that's created is that as soon as you have any sort of excess money, you just spend it because it's worth nothing. People don't value the fiat dollar. And even on Joey's show yesterday, I talked about this. I said, think of Bitcoin as like a battery. And think of fiat and Bitcoin as batteries. And fiat would be like the 1,000 pack of batteries that you buy on Amazon. They're $5. They do the job, but they only last for about 10 fucking minutes, and then you got to throw them out. And that's kind of what the fiat system is. It takes your energy, it stores it for like an hour, and then it starts depreciating. Whereas Bitcoin, think of Bitcoin as like the most powerful battery that you can imagine, where you put all of your time, all of your energy, all the amount of value that you add to the world, you put that in a battery, and that's Bitcoin. And it's the most powerful battery that exists because it's going to stay there. You could put that battery away for 10 years. And not only is the exact same amount of energy going to be there, it's going to allow you to purchase a lot more. It's crazy. I think that's a very good analogy. If you're trying to explain Bitcoin to other people, use the battery analogy. Like a very cheap Amazon battery, fiat, doesn't store any, nobody values it. You got to throw it out right away, get rid of it. Whereas Bitcoin's the most powerful battery on earth. It stores your time, energy, and value that you add to the world. You put that battery away for 50 years, 100 years, that exact same amount of energy is going to be there. So that's the first one. I think that it is going to change the way we spend our money. I think when people have to actually spend a scarce asset versus a unlimited illusionary asset, I think that people will make much different financial decisions. They won't be buying as much as they do today. Whether that's food, whether that's liquor, whether that's tobacco, whether that's clothes or handbags or watches, people will look much differently at their cash when we're using Bitcoin. So that's the first one. Our spending habits will change. The second one here I want to talk about, and this is going to be kind of short, and it's kind of weird to talk about to me, but it's something that I have been noticing in the world. I'm sorry, Zapstream, I've kind of been neglecting. I see my Path to Fire over there zapped 100 sats. Thank you, my friend. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well. But the second one here that I want to talk about was like a big event. And what I mean by that is like, if you think about, I'm sure you can relate to this, or you've seen it personally with your friends, with your family. When there's a very big event, like a traumatic event, or something that really changes the whole direction of your life, people respond in different ways. Some go down a bad path, some go down a good path, and some completely use that as fuel for the rest of their life. I've seen it myself in a very good friend of mine. His little brother, without getting too personal here, his little brother passed away in a car accident at a very young age. And it inspired him to, I think that he had that in the back of his mind, that he was doing things for his little brother for the rest of his life. And he turned out to have a very successful career in what he does. And so kind of what I was thinking is like, if you meditate, how can I word this? I just don't think that you need an event like that to actually happen in your life to change how you do things and the way you think about things. Like when somebody's parents die, or somebody very close to them dies, or they get really sick with cancer, their whole perspective on life changes. They see the world a lot differently. And kind of what I'm getting at here is I don't think that we really need to actually experience that in real life in order to change our perspective and our motivation in life. So kind of what I'm suggesting, and this is a little bit weird to say, but like, I want you to really meditate deeply and think very deeply on like, pretend and really drill it into your head that either like you're sick with, no, I shouldn't say that. Don't use the sick one, but like meditate deeply on like your mom died and really believe that. Let it sink into your body that your mom died. How do you feel about that? What kind of changes would you make? And I think if you do that, you have the ability to trick your mind into doing things, changing your perspective, changing the way you view the world and the kind of the purpose you have in life. If you can do that without your mom actually dying, and then, you know, the next week you see her, that's like a huge bonus. Again, it sounds very weird. And I hope that you can kind of understand what I'm trying to say here is that you don't need a big life-altering event to actually happen in order to change your perspective in life. That's kind of what I wanted to say with that. And the reason I changed my mind from like pretend you're sick is because I believe that the human mind, you can actually trick yourself into being sick. So don't take that route. But I hope that makes some sort of sense. And you can kind of take that however you want to. You can call me an idiot, never think about it again. But just think about that. Just trick your mind, trick yourself into thinking that something like that did happen. And I think just inherently that would change your whole view of the world, your perspective. You would see things differently. Because you know people in your life where they've had something traumatic like that happen, and then they're a completely different person after that. They care less about the bullshit in the world. They take time to go for a walk. They have much deeper relationships, and it's all caused by that original event that happened. But what I'm saying is we don't actually have to have that happen. You can kind of trick your mind into thinking that. I don't know. Might be crazy. I'm not even catching up on the comments here because it's probably like, you're an idiot. And the last one here that I wanted to talk about was confidence, self-confidence. And there's a couple different examples that I want to share here for people and why I started thinking about this. I'm sure everybody knows Arnie. I don't know if he's here or not. No, he's not. But we got Arnie a little toy, like a rope. It's made to be like tug of war rope. And I've been trying to teach him to like pull, like fight back, pull this thing so we can have a tug of war here. And he won't do it. He just kind of comes closer to me, tries to bite my hand, and he won't pull. Because I don't think that he thought that he could do it. So last night or a couple nights ago, I was playing with him and he started pulling a little bit and I let him win. And ever since I let him win, he got that feeling inside of him of like, that's cool. Like they cheered, even though like I let him win, but like mom and dad cheered for me. This is what I have this ability I'm stronger than my dad, essentially. So until he had that confidence, even if it was false confidence, he didn't want to do it. He didn't believe in himself at all. And this is a dog, obviously, so it's different than a human. But it wasn't until I let him win and he got the confidence and the belief in himself that he could win before he started to do it. So that's one example. And the second one that I wanted to use was actually a golf one. So Bryson DeChambeau, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or not, but he said that as a kid, he used to, even as like a really good golfer, as a teenager, he used to go and play from the red tees, the forward tees, which if you're not a golfer, there's usually like 3 or 4 sets of tees. The back tees are like for the professionals. Middle tees are for like the amateurs like me. And then the front tees are usually for the new golfers or historically women. That's changing, obviously, but the forward tees. So he said that he would actually play once in a while from the red tees and make a ton of birdies to get his confidence up, to have the self-belief that he got used to making birdies. And I there's different approaches in life and different ways to train people and especially kids. But like some people have this belief that if you put the kids at the back tees and you make it challenging for them, everything else is going to be easy. But I see it as like that can do so much damage to a kid when he's used to like making bogeys and making double bogeys. And he kind of ingrains that into his mind that's what kind of player he is. He's a bogey golfer, a double bogey golfer. Where if you flip that on its head, it's like from the front tees, it's the same kind of thing, false confidence there. And believing in yourself that you just becoming a guy that makes birdies. And I mean, he's made a pretty good living off it himself. And a guy that I very much look up to in the golf world. So that was the third one there, is just like your self-confidence. And whether you have kids that you can apply that to and just like try these different things out on, or if you have it in yourself or an employee or somebody on your team, like sometimes it's okay to give people, I hate the word false confidence, but like just give them a compliment and help them believe in themselves more. I'm very lucky here on this channel here because every time I open up YouTube, there's a comment or two in there and they're all good. And that's the kind of stuff that keeps me going. If there was nobody commenting, if there's nobody showing up in the live chat here, I wouldn't believe in myself and I would think that I was wasting my time. So just kind of make it a priority to go out of your way to just help people on whether it's your kids, give them encouragement. Don't underestimate the power of encouragement in people's lives. And I really mean that. And I think that if you are somebody who watched the show, I can't underestimate how much I appreciate not only the zaps, not people sending in Bitcoin, but just the comments that people send me. Sometimes comments are worth more than money or sats. So those are kind of my 3 observations that I've had in the last couple of weeks that I just kind of wanted to talk out. And you might resonate with some of those. You might think I'm an idiot, but it doesn't matter. I just noticed why do I look like such a ghost in this video here? I need to change my lighting in here. So that's what I got today. I'm going to catch up on some comments here. We're about an hour and a half into it, but I see a lot of comments to get through here. And I see the Bitcoin Buddha over in the Zap stream. Cheers to the Bitcoin Buddha. Good to see you. And shout out to everybody who's in Zap stream. We had a lot of momentum in Zap stream for a while, where we had a lot of people moving over from YouTube, but it seems like YouTube's been the dominant one lately. Tube Droid. Can I move Bitcoin from my exchange via LBTC to my Aqua wallet? How would that work? Yeah, absolutely. So if you're using an exchange like Bitcoin Well, you have the option of withdrawing that in Bitcoin on layer 1, or on Lightning layer 2, or on Liquid. So what I would probably suggest there, honestly, is like depending on what it's earmarked for. So Bitcoin Well, you have free withdrawals there, so you're actually not going to get charged a fee to move it out of there. So it might not be the worst idea to just move it from Bitcoin Well layer 1 to your layer 1 on Aqua wallet. And then if you're thinking you're going to be holding on to that Bitcoin for a while, that's probably the best route. If you're going to be, if you're just using it for Lightning, if you're using it for Nostr, Zapstream, Fountain, buying things online with Lightning, then I would just move it from Liquid. I would move it directly from Liquid into your Aqua wallet, let it sit there, and then you can spend it via Lightning as needed. So you just save a lot of fees that way. You don't have to do the swap. You don't have to do the conversion. So it really depends on what exchange you're using. But let's say you're using an exchange that doesn't offer Lightning. That's another great feature of both Bitcoin Well and Bull Bitcoin, is that they have Lightning withdrawals and Liquid withdrawals. Hey, TK, look at that. Look at that nice profile pic there, Nostr. Norm is a legend, one of the greatest of all time. I agree with that. And again, some of these comments are going to be a little bit behind after my observations there, but that's okay. Kev says, my family's in Costa Rica. I find it interesting that Hispanics and Latinos that live in the U.S. in general love Bukele or Malay but hate Trump, even though they're politically similar. Yeah, that, my friend, is called Trump derangement syndrome. Very similar to Bitcoin derangement syndrome. And what those syndromes are is the average person, they're taking downloads in. All the information they see all day from the media, from their phone, from their computer, from their TV, that's all information being downloaded into their heads. And so that's what they store there, even subconsciously. They store that information there. The media hates Trump. The media hates Bitcoin. And so until they're actually willing to take an objective view of Trump and Bitcoin, then they just have these opinions that other people have told them to have. And that's why so many people hate Trump and hate Bitcoin, which is pretty sad. And I mean, we all know the benefits of Bitcoin, and we've taken the time to understand it. But even with Trump, all you have to know about Trump is, and the early on in my relationship with Bridge, she was also a Trump hater. And I remember this very distinctively. We're out for a walk and we were talking about Trump. I mentioned him. I think he was doing a rally at the time. And she's like, that guy's such a dickhead. I can't stand Trump. And I'm like, okay, just let's look at this objectively. Forget everything you know about him. Just think about these 3 or 4 things. Number 1, he started 0 wars. The only president probably in U.S. history to start 0 wars. Not only did he start 0 wars, but he made peace deals with some of the most I don't know, our enemies, North Korea, Putin, China. He made peace deals in the Middle East, all these different countries. So that's number one. Two, he did not take a salary. Every other politician on earth, they get into office, let's say their net worth's $1 million. Once they leave office, they spend some time in politics, their net worth goes from 1 million to like 50 million or 100 million. Trump's went down. Trump took $0 for being the president of the United States. Zero. Number two. Number three, one of his main priorities as president was child trafficking. He put a lot of policies, a lot of orders in place, formed a lot of different things around getting rid of child trafficking and human trafficking. That was like his main mission as president. Those three things alone. And then if you go further, I mean, in our realm of the things here, like another one of his missions was to destroy the central banks. He had a picture of Andrew Jackson hanging in his Oval Office, and the other presidents and JFK also, with the silver dollar. He wanted to go against the banks, and that's been Trump's mission. And that's why it bothers me so much that Bitcoiners have such an issue with him, when it's so obvious. If you're just willing to take your download chip out of your head and just see things how they are. All the Bitcoin I have is KYC. Yeah. So, I mean, there's probably a lot of people in this exact position. And for those people still watching, there's quite a few here. So we're just going to keep going. I do have a meeting, I think, in the next 5 minutes. So we're going to have to cut her off here. But Wyatt Entertainment says, all the Bitcoin I have is KYC. And again, I think that there's probably a lot of people here in the chat watching who are the same. They might not even know what KYC is. So KYC is know your customer. That means that when you signed up for the exchange, you put in your name, your email, your phone number, you took a picture of your passport. They know who you are. They know what Bitcoin you bought. So that Bitcoin is going to be forever attached to you. But there's a couple things I would say on that. Let's say that you're Wyatt Entertainment here. All the Bitcoin you've got so far is KYC. That's fine. The one thing I would say to that is, like, number one, you're going to need KYC Bitcoin. If you intend on using Bitcoin to like fund the rest of your life, you're going to need to have some KYC Bitcoin, because what you're going to do is you're going to take that Bitcoin, you're going to go to the bank, you're going to say, this is what I'm putting up as my security, my collateral. You can hold a key to it. I'll hold a key to it. It's KYC'd. You can see that it's mine. And then they'll give you some cash, some fiat, or some, whatever we're calling it at the time, dollars. Hopefully the fiat dollar will be gone by then. But you can take out dollars that you can spend without actually spending your Bitcoin. So not all KYC Bitcoin is bad. There's going to be a use for it in the future. And the other part too there is, like, if you're planning on keeping your Bitcoin for a very long time, then it really doesn't matter. People get so worried about the tax implications of Bitcoin. It's like, if you don't ever sell your Bitcoin, then you don't have to worry about the tax implications of it. You don't need to know if the government, you don't care if the government knows you have it, because you're not going to sell it. And you're actually going to use it for collateral, so you don't have to pay taxes on selling it. There's no tax on loans. You go to the bank, and the banks are going to want your Bitcoin. You go to the bank, you say, here's my Bitcoin. You can hold a key. I'm going to hold a key. You get the loan, proceeds, line of credit, loan, whatever it is. You don't pay any tax on that. You're taking like the rich dad, poor dad theory playbook, but you're just using Bitcoin instead. You're not paying any tax. You're not selling properties. You're not selling Bitcoin. You're just using that as collateral, taking out debt, and not paying any tax on it. Timber Crasher says, yeah, exactly. It's okay. Why? Bitcoin requires none. And so one last thing on this story, going back to this, is just what I would say is just like make it a priority now to get some non-KYC Bitcoin as well. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do that. You can use an exchange like Bitcoin Well with their ATM. You can join a community like Living in the Future, and you can say, hey, everybody, I would like to buy some Bitcoin that's not from an exchange. Is anybody looking to sell some Bitcoin? You can go to a local meetup. You can say, do the same thing there. You can be using apps like ZBD where you don't have to put in your phone number. You don't have to put in your email address. You can earn sats on there, send it to your Aqua wallet, let it build up in there, and then move it to cold storage. And then make sure you're not mixing your KYC versus non-KYC. Be very particular in terms of tracking your non-KYC. Get yourself a nostr account. Get on there. Start adding value. Those are all non-KYC sats. Send them to your Aqua wallet. Let your balance build up there. Move it to cold storage. You know what I mean? Hey, the grinder's here. Happy Friday, Sovereigns, with a zap of 121 sats. The grinder just had some dental surgery. I wonder how much morphine he's on right now. You good? Let us know if you're good. Or if you're not. Blink twice if you're not okay. So if Bitcoin requires non-KYC, it's failed completely. I also agree with that too. If we're going to be, you're pretty much just getting non-KYC Bitcoin is like almost like a doomsday scenario. And if we need to rely on non-KYC Bitcoin at that point, then I agree. Bitcoin has failed. And whenever you get a chance, take some time to start a non-KYC stack just in case. Yes, great advice. Great advice. No, you don't want all your Bitcoin to be non-KYC, because then you're not going to be able to use it as collateral. And that's the whole point of being where we are right now. Grinder says, I checked out after waiting for 5 hours, doing it again in October. Oh, Jesus. Sounds like Canada. You have to wait for a dental surgery? Our dentists are definitely better than that here. Dominic says, do you invest in meme coins? Absolutely not. I also don't discourage them either. Like, kind of my opinion on this is like, I get it. Humans love gambling. Humans love trying to make a quick buck. The one thing I would say, though, is just like make sure that 95 to 97% of your holdings, sorry, talking too much here. Make sure that 95-ish% of your holdings are in Bitcoin. And then if you want to take 2%, 1%, you want to buy some Shiba Inu, you want to buy some Amber Rose data coin or whatever the fuck it's called, then do it. But just don't keep your stack there. That's your ticket out of the matrix. That's going to change the direction of your family's life forever. You don't ever want to mess with that 95% of your Bitcoin stack under any circumstances. So personally, I do not have any meme coins, but I also don't, I wouldn't hold it against you if you have some. Just kind of, I'm sure Bitcoiners are going to hate hearing that, but that's just my opinion. Because to me, it's like people are okay with sports gambling where you have no ability to control the outcome of that game. People have no issues with dropping $500, $1,000 on a big game in sports. But then they're like, well, but I would never invest in meme coins. It's the same fucking thing. So meme coins, altcoins, it's just gambling. It's the exact same thing. And humans will always gamble. Hey, we got another German in the house today. And Bitcoin Buddha's in both streams. Love that. Grinder says, small KYC stack is good. Rather use it for collateral if I need funny money than selling the sats. 100%. And said, no, I had a fixed appointment, and after waiting 5 hours, I checked out of the clinic and took a new appointment. Oh, yeah. That sounds a lot like Canada. Our healthcare system's a nightmare here. But it's free. It's free. Fucking Trudeau goes on Stephen Colbert and starts telling about how we need, the U.S. needs universal health care there. What a crock of shit. Yeah, Timber Crash says you could technically exchange all of your KYC stack for non-KYC. There are ways to do that. You're going to have to sell your Bitcoin, and then you're going to have to find new ways to buy non-KYC Bitcoin. It's a process. You could look into ways of like doing it slowly though. Like let's say you have a whole stack of KYC Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin worth. You just take like once a month, you convert 1 million sats from KYC into non-KYC sats, and just take it very slow and stay under the radar, stay under the thresholds. It's key to life. Yeah, this is going back to the spending habits here. I look at $10 of Bitcoin as $20 of fiat, 100%. Gresham's law in full effect. It's going to change everything. Oh, here we're going to get down to my my observations here. I can't wait to see the comments on this. Oh shit, I got to go here. All right, what do we got here? Sorry. Let's Adam, good morning, buddy. Good to see you. Love the honoring story. Yeah, I was very not weirded out by, but impressed by just how much encouragement, how much of a difference encouragement makes in somebody's life, even a dog. Need some sun. Matt says, do I trade altcoins short term? No. I would trade all the altcoins I have for Bitcoin today for the long term. Don't underestimate the power of encouragement. Your encouragement also provides encouragement. Yeah, I mean, really, if there's one takeaway from today outside of all the Bitcoin stuff, I really mean that. Whether that's your kids, your dog, your team, your employees, truly don't underestimate the power of encouragement, because you can all relate to that. You've all experienced that before, how good it feels when somebody says something nice to you about the hard work you've been doing. Is 0.7 Bitcoin enough? I'm 23 years old. Yeah, it's enough for what though? You got to be finding ways to earn more for the rest of your life. I mean, if you held on to that 0.7 Bitcoin, 17 million sats for the next 20 years, like, you're going to be laughing, but you don't want to just wait for that to happen. You got to immerse yourself in Bitcoin. Start doing work for Bitcoin, finding ways to earn Bitcoin. Love the Trump insights. Haven't heard them explain that concisely. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's common sense. Everything in this space is just common sense, logic, and people just fail to even want to think. What do we got here? All right, I got a meeting in 1 minute here. I'm sure the guy I'm meeting with might be watching the show right now, but I still got to be on time here. So, Bitcoin Pup, I saw I think it was a Zap yesterday, or you might have signed up for the Living the Future. It's good to see you. I think you came across video by accident yesterday here. So welcome to the channel. Welcome to the crazy, crazy world in here. Good therapy. Letha said, I watched the grinder playing video games yesterday and no clue was happening. Shit. That's good stuff, Letha. Andrew says, can we earn free sats in the US? Yes, go into Nostr. They're not free, you have to earn them, but there's Fold, there's ZBD, lots of ways. Check my channel, there's lots of ways to do it. So anyways, on the way out, make sure to click the like button. If you want to send a zap to Arnie, you can do it right here. If you're watching on Zap Stream, you can send a zap on the way out. Have yourselves a great weekend, everybody. I very much, again, appreciate everybody here. And I can't understate that. So have a great weekend. We'll see you right back here first thing on Monday morning.